Good afternoon, everybody. It's let me turn off my navigation. I know where I'm going now. Me and Dave Rohrman just came back from where were we? Harrisburg?
Yep, up on Harrisburg.
What street were we in?
Locust Lane.
Locust Lane in Harrisburg. And on a, was the price low, medium, or high?
I would say the purchase price was low.
Low. And at first glance when we pulled up, what was your impression?
It was about what I expected. It was going to be a significant reno job from the start.
It sucked. Let's be honest. It was a turd. Dave's trying to be nice. I'm gonna speak candidly. It was a piece of turd. And it actually, we started talking about it, right? Because we look at anywhere from 5 to 10 properties a day, and we were talking about, people were there. Like, how many people were there to look at that house?
Oh, there were half dozen people there looking at that place.
Why do you think they're there?
Because of the low price.
The low price.
Yep.
So, and it's probably, let's say, an $80,000 renovation.
Oh, yeah.
Right? So, my point when I was talking to Dave was, you're going to be all in that property for, let's call it $110,000. I would actually rather buy a $70,000 property that needs a $40,000 renovation. And I'm going to explain to you why. And when you start buying and rehabbing and flipping properties, this is something you need to be aware of. And if you're not, it can definitely get you in trouble. Because I need my phone to freaking scan here. So hold on a second. And here's what happens. When you have a purchase price, I have a free pass. When you have a purchase price of $70,000, that $70,000 is a fixed amount. When you get the settlement, that price isn't going to change. It's $70,000. Now, if you project a $70,000 renovation, in our experience, but we go over about 12% on our renovations. So a $70,000 renovation budget will actually equate to about a $8,400 overage. And that $8,400 comes out of your profit. So bottom line is, better to target properties that are a higher percentage of ARV with a lower renovation, because the purchase price is predictable. The number doesn't change. When you go to settlement, what you agreed to purchase the house for is what the settlement sheet is going to read. When you budget a renovation, you have the likelihood of being anywhere from 10 to 30% over budget. It's an unpredictable number. And the larger the renovation, the more likely you are to have change orders, the more likely you are to go over on materials, the more likely you are to take a longer period of time. So the bigger the project, the bigger the opportunity for loss. So think about looking at properties that aren't just cheap, because every time you get out and you look at something cheap, one problem is you're going to have multiple buyers, all competing offers. And the second is, the reason it's cheap is because it needs a ton of work. So when you look at big renovations, just consider, if you could flip-flop those numbers, if you could take a higher purchase price of $80,000 and only do a $30,000 renovation, that's a much more predictable investment than buying a property for $30,000 and putting $80,000 into it. Plus, let's just, state the obvious that managing an $80,000 renovation is hard. It's excruciating. It's painful. It's stressful. So think about that when you're looking for investment properties. Don't always just flock to the cheap stuff. By all means, you should go out and look at it, because it may just be a great deal and not need a massive renovation. And if you're great at construction, maybe that's not a big deal for you. But most of the rehabbers and flippers and investors that I know are not contractors by trade. They're business people. They're investors. And construction's part of their business. It's not the core of their business. So if that sounds like you, then you might want to start looking at higher priced properties that have lower renovations, and ultimately you'll have a more predictable profit at the end of the project. Hope that helps you. We'll see you soon.